Hi, good morning. Are you going to stay today or you have to go? I'm about to drive in 5-ish minutes. Okay. Thanks for dropping by. Thanks for dropping by. Yeah, yesterday they lost the match, Sandeep. They lost the match. Yeah. Okay. Enjoy. Enjoy your day. Yeah. Um, Yesterday I was watching the match and it was a very good match, well fought match. It happened in Ahmedabad and yeah, it was fun. Your cousin, right? Yeah, he has injured his right arm, and he got hurt a couple of times while bowling and fielding. Very entertaining. He did a great job. They just couldn't reach the total score. If their captain lost his wicket within one with just one run scored on the board, that was the main problem. If he had performed, that team would have won. Anyway, it was the first time they came into the final in so many years. So, no, Virat Kohli was with that team, that franchise for 18 years. And in those 18 years, they hadn't won any. So this was the first one. Yeah. So that's it, Sandeep. The IPL is over for this season, and we'll have to wait for the next one. So it's already 7:45, and it's time for us to switch over and get into our daily discussions. I'm hoping Hot Dog would be able to join us momentarily. He usually drops in. Um, okay, so what I've seen is that Jim Cramer is saying Trump is making it hard for the market to value stocks accurately. And I agree with him. That is my lament as well. Jim Cramer said President Donald Trump's actions bring out short sellers and lead investors to make misguided market moves. He's saying when you examine the market's mistakes, they share a common theme. The president's distorting pretty much everything, especially with his tariffs and his jingoistic approach to the rest of the world. And it continually is confounding traders and investors alike. And he said people would just rather be short. They expect the market to come down every day. And that's my feeling as well. I'm shorting the market and my shorts are getting into loss-making positions. In this context, what I want to do is I want to show you a cup and handle position, that the cup and handle, what do we call it? Cup and handle pattern in NASDAQ, which looks very formidable and dangerous. You see this cup and handle pattern out here. Now, this has been building over a few months, so it's really strong. And just because we have a cup and handle pattern doesn't mean that it is going to manifest. What I have found out is that 47% of cup and handle patterns dropped substantially within 2 months of the breakout with handle. This is quite sobering data. And the failure rate is 26% if you wait for the upside breakout. In my opinion, the upside breakout has already happened. So there is only 26% chance of failure out here. Now, this is very jarring, considering the backdrop in which we are getting this upside signal. In the current context, we have tariff-related supply disruption and potential inflation, but it is masked by positive government statements whenever the market tanks, just like Jim Cramer said. And US has 32 trillion in debt, and 10-year yield is elevated. The 20 and 30-year yields briefly crossed 5% and then retreated. So along with this, there is war in Russia and Ukraine, which is only getting worse, and the war in the Middle East is continuing. There is no policy clarity, and even OECD has revised downward the global GDP growth projections. In this backdrop, the cup and handle pattern seems to be quite jarring. Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook said on Tuesday that trade policy changes have begun to weigh on the US economy and warned that tariffs could hinder progress on inflation. The US economy, according to her, is still on firm footing, but uncertainty has notably increased since the beginning of the year. So it's again a diplomatic way of saying that Trump is messing up the whole show, right? So that's what I have here. And another context we have to look at is also the fact that we have a situation where our Trump has come out with a tweet or truth or whatever you may call it, which says extremely hard to make a deal with China Z as stalemate, between US and China continues over the tariff talks. And a senior White House official has told CNBC that Trump and Xi are likely to speak this week, whereas China's foreign minister recently said that US has to meet China halfway. And China's foreign minister Wang Yi on Tuesday met with the US ambassador to China, David Perdue, in Beijing, and expressed the hope that the envoy could play a positive role in promoting the healthy, stable, and sustainable development of bilateral relationship. Right? And we also have the other aspect which is going on in parallel. If you guys have not forgotten, China has got orders for Boeing planes, and it has returned it. If you recollect, just I think somewhere maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, because with the current way things are going, it's so difficult because weeks seems like years. CEO Kelly Ortberg, I think that's his name. He's the CEO, I think, of Boeing, said that China has sent back planes it ordered from US in the latest retaliation over Trump's tariffs. This was in April. I think there was a BBC report. And Kelly Ortberg said that 2 planes had already been returned and another would follow after trade tensions between the 2 countries escalated. And Boeing CEO told CNBC that 50 more planes were due to go to China this year, but their customers had indicated they will not take delivery of them. And this happened after US put 145% tariffs on imports from China, and China hit back with a 125% tariff on US products. However, during Trump's visit to Qatar, Boeing got a massive order that probably compensated them, right? Meanwhile, right now, we have reports that China is considering placing an order for hundreds of Airbus aircraft as soon as next month, when European leaders visit Beijing to celebrate the country's long-term ties. During that period of time, it will showcase a much more closeness between Europe and China. And in some quarters, there is talk that Europe wants to replace the dollar with euro. Now, if you look at all of those things together, it should send alarm bells for US, but nothing seems to be happening out there. I believe Trump is not reading any intelligence reports, and it's very difficult to get information across to him. And he has a group of people around him who say yes to everything that he has. That's why he didn't hear about the taco trade, and we had that situation in the press. So that's the situation we have at the White House, right? As retail investors, of course, we don't want to be political. But the scary thing is that you start seeing these kind of patterns which show that there is going to be a bullish response by the market. Now, if I was to take this cup and handle pattern roughly, right? Let me just move this up to see if I have taken the right place. Yeah. So I've ignored these wicks that are jutting down. I'm going to ignore them just to be conservative. And if I take this and put it out at the breakout point, right? Then we are looking at a target of NASDAQ at 25,946.60. Let us dial this back into the 1 month time frame, where each candle is a monthly candle, and look at NASDAQ. I mean, this is very steep. We are talking of another steep rise from here, just like we already had. And this steep rise that we had from the previous cup and handle pattern, right? It took us all the way up, almost 35.59%. And then we had a drop. Now we have the next cup and handle pattern. Just let me recalibrate the chart again. So we have this next very steep cup and handle pattern. And it is telling us that we're going to have another jump like this all the way to 25,959. Let me measure what it means from where we are right now. It means another 20%, approximately 19 to 20% gains. So I'm now worried about the shorts that I have made. I don't know if I can continue holding those shorts. And if I sell those shorts are actually for the negative positions that I already have in my longs. So I don't know what to do at this point of time, whether I trust the pattern out here or whether I trust my sense of economics looking at what is happening. I don't see any quick fix for the problems with China. And if you look elsewhere, right, Trump is desperately looking for a Nobel Peace Prize. And he claimed his hand in India-China truce, which India refuted immediately. And then we had talks about some crypto deal between Trump Jr. and Pakistan. So that thing fizzled out. He was looking at a game with Ukraine and Russia. He thought his pal Putin would just back out and end this thing, and Zelensky will roll over and let go of Crimea and occupied areas by Russians. And it didn't happen. In fact, we have seen the opposite with Operation Spiderweb, which Ukraine claims success to have destroyed almost 30% of Russia's bombers. So I think if you look at what happened in the past, Trump just walks away from things where he doesn't see any quick gain. So he loses interest and he goes to the next shiny thing. So he's already moved away from this Russia-Ukraine thing. And if he does move away from this China tariff thing without resolving it, because resolving it would mean either an agreement with Z, and that still shows Trump as a winner, or just walking away without touching the current status quo, which means perpetual uncertainty, both of which are very difficult situations for the market to handle. And the second one is difficult for the market to handle, that is continued uncertainty. And the possibility that Z is going to step down and allow Trump to have a win seems very unlikely, because it will damage Z's position within China. So here we are sitting, looking at this fantastic cup and handle pattern, which other times I would be really rejoicing to look at. And in this pre-market session, we are continuing to move ahead. I want to show you something that I marked out earlier. For that, I'll have to again recalibrate this chart. Please bear with me while I do that. So here we have the S&P 500 futures. And this is where today starts with the futures. This is the beginning of the market for 4th of June. And since then, we have gained quite a lot. So I'm going to just measure how much we have gained. We have gained 0.29% since then. That is 17.25 points. So that's the overall gain that we have. And we have been consolidating sideways. If you look at it in another way, you can say that you had a kind of cup and handle position, and that has come to its logical fruition. I'll take the shortest wherever it was and take it back and put it on top of the breakout. So we already had a breakout. Even if we take this as a breakout point, we came to the resistance, and then we broke out, and we are just on top of the resistance right now. So from that perspective, I think as we grow closer to the market open, we may potentially either go up or go down. Even the market is not sure, because they are fluctuating between a high and a low. So nobody knows what's going to happen. And what Inf is saying here is, in Q1, we saw a lot of pull forward of demand when companies bought a lot of inventory ahead of tariff fears. And Q2, we got that horrible tariff nonsense. Yeah, I think August could be better, but no guarantee. Yes, Sandeep, nobody knows what the hell is going to happen out here. Yeah, nobody knows about this. That's the problem. Now let's go and look at our dollar index, right? Dollar index is doing way better. It's recovered quite well. And if you look at the 10-year yields, now let me go into the 1-day time frame for the dollar index and see what's happening today. So dollar index has recovered pretty well, and it's gone above the line of resistance of 99.216. It's at 99.231, slightly above that. We'll see what happens when the market opens, the stock market opens, and we'll see how it goes. But we have a reverse head and shoulder pattern out here. If we look carefully, I wouldn't put too much value on that. I would also like to draw a diagonal line of resistance out here, connecting a couple of points, and convert that into a red line and say that this is what we have here. I'm removing the other line. And I would say that this could be another resistance. We have got the 9-day, the 20-day resistance. And we have a death cross out here already for dollar index. So we have to watch out what happens out there. Then we have the 10-year yields, which are continuing to march up. They are gone above the 20-day and the 9-day exponential already. And MACD is trying to mend. Momentum is above average. And we had the 20-year very close to the 5% mark, and the 30-year is also very close to the 5% mark. So that's again a matter of concern that we have to watch out for. And if we go into AI, NVDA is still looking pretty strong. And NVIDIA has got a formidable cup and handle pattern out here, and it has already broken out from that. And I am thinking that NVIDIA will continue to move upwards if we ignore all these tariff issues and all the geopolitical things. And come to think about it, the Mag 5 is driven by NVIDIA. And the Mag 5 and Mag 7 collectively are the ones which are driving the NASDAQ and the S&P 500. So that being the case, if NVIDIA is able to buck the trend, then I think that the cup and handle pattern for NASDAQ and S&P 500 could end up happening. But at the end of the day, the first level of business for NASDAQ, for NVIDIA, was coming from the Mag 6 companies, which were all creating infrastructure, AI infrastructure, and providing AI computing power to the common people and client companies. Now, the next level is going to be AI adoption among companies. Now, these are all going to be end user companies which may want their own AI and may want to put their own individual company data specifically for themselves and try to reach a lot of gains. Another place where a company like Palantir would be succeeding a lot. So these are all very strong use cases. But then, if you look at those client companies, these client companies are operating in the brick and mortar world, right? I'm not talking in terms of sales. I'm talking in terms of actually producing physical things like gadgets or widgets. Think of it like producing buckets, producing transistors, producing chainsaw or things like that, right? Physical things. Producing pencils or whatever it may be. I'm assuming they're not importing components from the US. Let us say pure play American production, who will have an advantage under these tariff conditions. Now, those people will need to have a market. And if other companies which depend on China for their supply chain into production of their final products or into inventory that they sell through Amazon or Shopify markets or whatever, those companies are going to lay off people. Therefore, the purchasing power is going to go down. So even pure play American companies are going to find that the market is not there. And the market doesn't have the capability to lift the volumes or the pricing. So that could again come back to hit the uptake of the entire market, right? So entire production of these US companies. So I'm thinking that creates a problem to the narrative that NVDA will continue to meet its cup and handle target and reach new heights, which will be formidable heights. So logically, I don't think that is supported by the narrative. So I'm a little bit circumspect. Maybe we will end up losing some good deal of money by not following the chart patterns and putting our emotions and logic aside. If you're a pure chart player, then probably you could get into these positions and probably sell calls or something like that to hedge your bets. Meta also is up 0.68% pre-market. We have Google up 0.42% pre-market. Amazon is up 0.60 pre-market. And we have Apple. Apple is facing problems. It's down 0.30% in pre-market trading. It's been range bound for the last 5 days. Microsoft is up 0.06. It has gained a whole lot. As I mentioned earlier, I had kind of shorted it with the MSFT. We have some headlines saying that Microsoft is offering to give cybersecurity to European Union. I'll read up on that later after the live stream, and probably we'll talk about that in a video separately. Tesla is up 0.60%. It's traveling along this diagonal line of support from the previous bull flag. We'll see what happens today if it comes and touches this line and then bounces back, in which case it's heading towards forming a reverse head and shoulder. That is one possibility. The other possibility is that it's creating a bear channel. So we'll see what happens. Oracle is up 0.51%, continuing to register gains. It broke out of this bull flag, and this bull flag started from here. In my opinion, the bull flag started from here. So this is what the bull flag is, and it exited from the bull flag context out here. So it has got juice to go all the way up to 173.22. In my personal opinion, you can't take it to the bank. This is my personal opinion, not financial advice. Technical patterns do tend to fail from time to time. Look at the background. There is so much of uncertainty out there, right? And that's what Jim Cramer is also talking about. So 173.48 is my target for Oracle. Now, if you look at this target, and if you look at another trend that is building up out here, right? Let me draw this out. What is this pattern that we have out here? It's a reverse head and shoulder pattern, right? So let me delete this. Let me take the proper widget. So we have this reverse head and shoulder pattern. And as we do with reverse head and shoulder patterns, if I was to take this all the way, let me say that I'm going to assume this is the neckline. Okay, let me draw the neckline out here to show what I consider to be the neckline. So this is my neckline. Okay, so if this is the neckline and then I draw it on the trigger point, reverse head and shoulder, then I think we're looking at a target of 201.99 for Oracle. Okay, so I'm just going to remove this. These are all wild speculation. I need to do a proper analysis on that, but I'm seeing that roughly I'm seeing that chart pattern out there. Just wanted to share it with you. I'm going to investigate that further to see if it's a legitimate pattern. Let me remove all these artifacts from here and see what's happening with the other stocks. AMD is up 0.84% in pre-market trading. SMCI is up 1.81% in pre-market trading. Neatly done SMCI. SMCI is looking pretty good. MACD is also improved. Broadcom is up 0.88% in pre-market trades. Palantir, no stopping Palantir, it's up 0.34%. And we have SMH, which is going up by 1.01% in pre-market trades. And I have a target for SMH at 280.25, assuming all this uncertainty is for nothing and TACO is going to happen, in which case this is good, 281.35 for SMH. Tempus AI is up 0.44% after dropping earlier, and we are holding on to see what happens with Tempus AI. FNGB is down 1.15%, which is a little uncharacteristic given the fact that NVDA is up 2.8, Apple, Microsoft, Tesla, and AMD, all of them are up. The only 2 or 3 which are down are Meta, Google, and Amazon. So what is different for them? That's the topic of my investigation for the rest of today. Is it the canary in the coal mine saying that even Mag 5 and Mag 7 will have to give up gains and start take cognizance of the uncertainty that is ruling outside in the actual economy? So we'll see what happens about that later on. We just like to go and have a look at TSLQ because I had shorted Tesla. It's down another 1.04%. So not looking good for me on that front. Tesla is continuing to go gangbusters out there. Tesla has always caused losses for me. That is because of my bias. And it seems I have still not learned the lesson. Okay, so Elon is having his last laugh. Probably doesn't even know that a small retail shareholder like me is shorting Tesla. Anyway, let's look at the other one which I'm interested in, which is Wipro Information Technology. So this is an Indian IT major. On the Indian side, I have made tons of money with Wipro. I'm trying to see if I can replicate it on NASDAQ. So my purchase price for Wipro is at 2.68. If I don't get it for 2.68, I'm not entering. It's moving downwards, but this morning it's up again 0.35%, which is around a cent or so. So I'm looking for it to come somewhere closer to $2.68. Right now it's at $2.84. So I will wait. We have a death cross out here, the 9-day crossing over the 20-day. So that's another sign that it's going down. I'll wait and see what happens. And we also have, if you can see, this is a shoulder, this is a head, and this is a shoulder. And it will trigger somewhere out here in this line of support at 2.79. And when that happens, I'm expecting that we'll come closer to this support level at 2.60. And that's when I would make a move to buy it. Yeah, so that's one thing. And I'm looking at Rigetti, which is another loss-making position of mine. Rigetti is continuing to move up this bull channel. That makes me comfortable. This morning, pre-market, it's up 0.50%. I hope it continues to maintain that because MACD is bearish. So I'm holding on. Because we have a double bottom target of 15.95. We came very close to it at 15.32 and then gave up gains. We still don't have a death cross out here. We had a golden cross happening. So it's all bullish context right now. I'm holding on to it. I'm happy with the gradual pickup. It's sustainable. And then we have SMR, which again has gone up 0.91% pre-market. Yesterday also pre-market, it opened quite high and then gave up all the gains. The way I'm looking at it is it's a bull flag or bullish pennant happening out here. And we have a bullish context to work on. Overbought conditions, which is cooling off, which is good. MACD is still bullish. Let's see what happens with SMR. I don't have any holdings of SMR. What I do hold is AVAV. That is AeroVironment Inc. And it's up 1.20% again, pre-market. And it's broken out of this bull flag. And we have a resistance out here today at 190.14. And hopefully we break that. 190.36 is actually the resistance. Let me open this up. 190.30. Okay, I keep on making this line thicker so that you can see it on smaller screens. So there's a little bit of difficulty saying exactly where it is. So when I click into it, it says 190.30. That's the resistance for today. and we'll see what happens when the market opens. I have a small position. I have 20 shares of AV. They were in the loss. And when we touch 188, as we have done today, I swing into profits. Then the question for me is, am I going to take the profits, or am I going to wait for a reverse head and shoulder, which is, let me draw that for you. For a reverse head and shoulder, and assume that the neckline is somewhere out here, and look for growth out there. So that's what I'm thinking. Let us see what happens. Let me take another widget and move this out from here to, yeah, I mean, this is the place that it should be if it's a true head and shoulder. I'll figure it out offline and I'll come back. But basically what I'm saying is I'm thinking there's a bullish context that I'm looking at. So I'll hold on to AV for a little more. And yeah, TSLQ is still continuing to go down. So that's about what I have here for you, my friends. And let me go to genomics, because we are in a free format, right? So why not cater to some of our genomics audience? And we have Inf saying that he's also concerned that things could go down. And drive safely. Don't focus on the on the live stream. Reach safely. Take care. Bye, Inf. Bye for now. So that said, let me go back and look at some of our genomic stocks. Prime is looking good from yesterday. Pre-market flat. Intellia up 0.65% pre-market. Caribou Biosciences no trade pre-market. Beam Therapeutics up 1.07% in pre-market trades, looking good indeed. We had a death cross, which is the context in which we are operating, so we are still bearish. MACD is trying to break out into the positive side. Momentum is trying to pick up, but it's still below average. It's an uphill task for Beam, but overall market is good. Beam will also be good. Altimmune is up 0.92%. Support still remains at 5.33. MACD is bearish. Momentum is below average. And we are just about to have a death cross out here. So the verdict is still out on Altimmune. Pemvidutide is the key for it. There is no news about it, so that's the problem. We'd have to check out for news. From May 19 onwards, there is no news. Verve, no trades pre-market, nothing to report out here. Editas is down 0.55% in pre-market trading. And Illumina is up 0.75% in pre-market trading. We have had a golden cross out here, so I'm still on a bullish context, but MACD is not inspiring confidence. Momentum is looking pretty decent. CRISPR Therapeutics is up 0.42% in pre-market trading, still range bound. Resistance at 38.80. MACD is looking good, started being bullish. Momentum is also looking good. So all systems go for CRISPR Therapeutics. Allogene down 0.74% in pre-market trade. This resistance at 1.36 seems to be difficult to handle. We are in the death cross context. Golden cross is waiting to happen. MACD is giving full support. Momentum is also picking up. So we have to see the investor, whether the investor wants to move out or not. And come to think about this, this is going to be a really difficult line, because if I was to connect all these lines out here, these 3 points out here, the touch points, it seems that this is a very difficult resistance for today. Maybe we go sideways today and tomorrow we break through the individual resistance, where this diagonal line will become a support and help us to break through this resistance of the horizontal line. So probably tomorrow there'll be some good news for Allogene in terms of breaking out. Grail is up 1.69% in pre-market trading, still range bound like before. MACD is still bearish. Momentum is supporting. PSCB, it has broken out of this diagonal line of resistance, which now becomes a support. Rejoice, my friends who are holding PSCB. We are starting to look a little good. I don't know what's the basis for this good things to happen. Let us see this news from 2 days ago. Pacific Biosciences target ALS collaborate for genomic study. Target ALS is a non-profit which is collaborating for whole genome sequencing. Okay, nothing big out here to move the markets as such. ARCG, let us see what's happening. Pre-market, it's up 0.09% in pre-market trade. MACD is bullish, momentum above average. Both of the things are good for it. Support continues to be at 21.93. Well, let's hope ARCG goes up. Vertex, no trades pre-market. Ginkgo Bioworks up 1.87% pre-market. Still range bound. Unicure up 0.59% pre-market. We have a reverse cup and handle. Nothing great happening out here. Consolidation. That's about it. That's it. That's all I got. IMTX pre-market, no trades. Yeah, friends, that's all I got out here. Let me take a quick look at the chat section. Okay, bye, Inf. I'll catch up with you again later. Bye, friends. I'm going for my breakfast. And then I'll be back to do some trading.